Good morning, I'm Sandy. Welcome. Settle in and join me for today's intention. You may not get to choose everything the day brings, but you can choose how you meet it. Today's intention deals with dealing with powerlessness, and this continues to build from the topic of nonviolence. So, in yesterday's video, we talked about balance, and one of the biggest challenges to maintaining balance is feeling powerless. So, where in your life have you forgotten how much choice you still have? It's easy to get in a frame of mind that's all black and white, and we see things one way, and we kind of box ourselves into that view. Think of times when you feel like you've run out of choices. Typically, we'll respond with anger, outward aggression, or we'll instead project that negativity inward and we'll withdraw. We'll put that frustration upon ourselves and become kind of stuck. So, ahimsa, nonviolence, invites us to question the feeling of powerlessness rather than to accept it. When we feel powerless, we've forgotten how much choice we really have. And specifically, the choice to determine how you're going to, your perception on the situation. You do get to choose how you look at it. So there's three ways of thinking that shift me out of a feeling of powerlessness. Right. So think about what story you might be telling yourself. Try to bring up in your mind an area of your life where you've kind of been stuck and you feel like you just don't really have the options that you want, and it's a bit overwhelming. Three ways of thinking that can help to shift you out of this type of powerlessness are practicing gratitude. That is huge. So, practicing gratitude has an amazing impact on daily living. And it's such a subtle thing, but simply journaling two or three things that you're grateful for every morning and every evening can have a profound effect on the quality of your life in the day to day. Another way of dealing with the feeling of powerlessness is to trust in the moment. So, our life experience is presented in any given moment as it is, and we can't change that. So, trusting that things are as they should be and being at peace with the world as it is a big part of uh, dealing with powerless. And really, it's a good way to empower yourself. The third way of dealing with powerlessness is to think about others. So, if you are living in abundance, how can you help others? And that doesn't just mean financially, right? Maybe you can hold space for someone that needs to express something, or maybe you can lift somebody up who's having a really bad day. So, when dealing with powerlessness, we can also ask ourselves, what kind of difficult situations have I handled before? Just reinforcing our own confidence in our own competence. What evidence shows that I'm more capable than I feel, right? We know feelings aren't facts. Feelings of incompetence or inability to deal with things can come simply from just lack of confidence, from uncertainty and not knowing what the situation is going to bring. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the feeling is true. So, practicing acknowledging that feeling and then moving on to do what needs to be done anyway. Looking also at what choices are still available that maybe you haven't considered. How can you respond rather than react when you know you can't control the outcome? Taking just one step forward, right? We talked about finding our courage a couple of days ago, and basically just doing the next right thing, even though you're feeling lack of confidence or a little worried about it. So powerlessness often comes from believing old stories about ourselves, and that's a common phenomenon in, the human condition is things happen that have a really big impact on us. And then we develop a story around that. And that becomes like a limiting factor in our lives. We operate as if that condition remains true ongoing when really it was just a transient situation that came and then it went. So, what is one action that you can take right now, even though you might feel some uncertainty? Where can you ask for help? And what is the smallest next step? How can this challenge also help you grow stronger? Because we know that all adversity and pain is really required before we can experience personal growth. So, a lot of times around today's intention, take a deep breath in, fill your lungs all the way up slowly and completely, and then let it out and relax as you exhale. And follow me with today's intention. I have more choices than I sometimes realize. I don't have to believe every story my mind tells me. I can simply acknowledge the thoughts as they come and allow them to go without validating them as truth. Today, I am willing to take one step forward. Today, I choose action over helplessness, one step at a time. You may not get to choose everything the day brings, but you can choose how you meet it. Thank you for sharing this intention with me today. Namaste.